Hi, Gillian. How are you today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for this wild ride of a series. My gosh, right from the first minute, it just doesn't let up. And I want to ask you, first of all, are you a comic book nerd?
I am. I'm a proud comic book nerd. I'm the daughter of a comic book nerd. So I was raised, my dad raised me right. And I grew up on sort of EC comics in particular and that era and so have a real fondness for that the whole genre, the whole medium. And certainly went to my fair share of Comic Cons during my growing up years and beyond.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, it's too bad that you couldn't take this, in real life to Comic Con, but you did do it virtually. And how
Yeah.
was that? Like, how was it accepted? And were people very, really must have been so excited for it?
You know, I don't know, because that's the difference between being able to go in person and show people things and hear. And we were doing everything remotely, so it was definitely a very different experience. But I was really grateful to be able. I what I certainly hope is that people who are into comics um, know that this was made by someone who has a deep love of comics and graphic novels.
Clearly. And I want to ask you, I mean, this is, a reimagined version of the series from
Yeah.
Britain. What was, the most important thing? Because this is really gritty, it's violent, it's real, it deals with, some pretty heavy duty issues. So was that the most important thing that you wanted to get across there?
For me, there were a couple things that attracted me to the project, and I've been working on this for a long time, trying to get made since 2013.
I
So
know.
when I
Yeah.
first started, it was, Dennis Kelly had created this amazing, rich world. And the two things that I thought that I personally could really play with the most was one, what's the state of humanity? What's the state of our planet? What are we doing that's causing this cycle of disasters that we find ourselves in? And that was a piece I didn't want to do. It's not a pandemic thriller, it's not a medical thriller. That's merely one of the myriad conspiracies that's kind of flowing through this. And then that would be the second thing, is the idea of conspiracy, that idea of for really digging into the world of conspiracy, the world of truth versus non-truth. I
Yeah.
just felt like, and it's only grown more since 2013, that idea that we are giving up the idea of truth, that we're willingly coming to believe that truth can be opinion,
Yeah.
which is not true.
Yeah.
And unless we all agree that there is, in some, obviously there is opinion, but unless we all believe that there are certain truths that we can come to
Yeah.
together, we're going to find ourselves in a very dangerous place, which is a lot of, for me, what Utopia is about. And I took
Yeah.
my cues a lot from those great conspiracy paranoia thrillers that came out after Watergate in the 70s, like All the
Yeah.
President's Men and Parallax View. And, I pitched it when I was trying to sell it as it's a Marathon Man meets Goonies.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
great pitch. I would have bought that in a second. So listen, kudos to you. First of all, this cast is fantastic, no question about it. But my goodness, you got John Cusack to do a television series, and you wrote the character for him. That's amazing. Did you know, like, did you have him in mind when you wrote it, or how did that all come about?
I just knew I knew he'd be so perfect for it. I had always really admired him. I'm a Gen Xer myself, so I kind of grew up with Lloyd Dobler and
Yeah.
and felt like I kind of grew up with him in a way. And he's a really cerebral guy, and I knew that, I wanted someone who had this air of authority, this brilliance where you would believe him as a, biotech
Yeah.
pharmaceutical, giant, that he had that chops to do that, but at the same time that you had this built-in sort of level of comfort with him and assurance. It's like, oh, it's, John, here comes John Cusack. It's going to be okay. He's
Yeah.
wheeling into the his Christie Core labs. And so for me, he was just a really obvious choice. And I like that we really get to see him in this, not as a sort of Gen X hipster slacker guy, but really as like a grown up, giant of industry, family man. You know, I just feel like he's getting to show off a side that we just haven't seen him in a lot. So
Yeah.
it was really fun.
It's great. Well, listen, congratulations on this. And it's, wow, couldn't be more timely with this pandemic. So people are going to be like really watching this carefully, I think. You know, maybe you've got some answers for us. I hope you do. But best of luck. And just thank you personally for all your amazing novels that you've written. My God, I always can't wait for the next one to come out. So I hope you've got another one churning in there.
Thank you. Oh, yes.
Always. Good stuff. Thanks so much and have a great day and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much. You too.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cut, please.